Making profit is your number one goal as a business owner. That is your number one goal. But you cannot achieve your goal without having the right tools in place, because that is Hopeology. It's just not going to work.
And I repeat, it cannot be an or conversation, this or that. As you said, it has to be an and conversation, which is I've got to take full ownership of patient care and outcomes and the treatment and what my business does, and the financial aspects and facets of it.
Both must be true. If you want a profitable practice, you've got to use this one tool every single week. Let's dive in. Let's check it out. Guys, welcome to today's episode. Today we are talking about the number one tool that you've got to use only every single week. Every 7 days you use this. I use this right here at Practice Acceleration. Our top performing clients use this. You're going to absolutely love it. Today we are talking about a very special tool. I'll tell you what it's called shortly. But when you use this, get on the fast track to profit. Complete control over your numbers, eliminate overwhelm. Super excited, and welcome to the podcast, David McDonald.
Hey, I'm here.
General Manager of Practice Acceleration and the President of Clever and Handsome. Woohoo!
That is such a pressure role.
I know. I was stressed before. I was like, something's not right. Someone save us. We need more cleverness and handsomeness in here. Then UK, we've all been saved.
Well, I'm glad I've relieved the pressure. But anyway,
thank you.
I'm so excited to be here. Once again, Practice Acceleration podcast, talking about the number one tool in order to fast track your business. I'm super excited about this topic, Tristan. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're most welcome. Now you to tell everyone what's happening in the podcast, because I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. So why is this important? We're talking about the number one tool. We love tools. Why is it important to use a tool?
I think so, because it's leverage, isn't it? It's about, again, making sure that you're in the best position. We're all doing the best we can with the tools that we have at our disposal.
Yeah.
And we're also making the best decisions that we can with the intel we have at that present stage. So why not use better tools to get better intel so that you can make better decisions? Because without it, too often we work with clients across 7 countries. We've been around 50 years. We've helped over 3,000 healthcare practice owners, and we always give them the right tools.
Not our first rodeo.
Not the first rodeo, but
our first rodeo.
We always give them the right tools in order for them to grow and expand.
Exactly.
And I think I know is that this tool is an absolute game changer in terms of making sure that they've got all the intel that they need on a weekly basis, not only for themselves, but also for their strategic partners, whether that be their life partner, their business partner, business partners, whoever is involved at a very executive and strategic level, because this is exactly one of the same tools that we use on our weekly leadership and executive meeting every week in order for us to make the best decisions moving forward for us. Because without it, it's a bit like driving with no one behind the wheel.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, it's like, you're heading somewhere, but you know GPS, right? So we think about common frustration, why do we create this for ourselves, and also why do we create it for a more customized version for our clients? We know that one of the big purposes of being in business is to make profit.
Yes.
Right? So purpose of being in business is to make money and to have time freedom and to have headspace freedom. But what occurred to us, I'm in a I'm in a blessed position in that my father was an accountant and his father was an accountant. So we've had accounting firms. Well, my dad bought my grandfather's firm and my grandfather started his firm from scratch. We've had accounting firms in the family for close to 100 years. So I've been around these conversations around profit and loss every single meal I've had with my family, whenever we've caught up, for literally my entire life. So I'm at a distinct advantage here. So it's been really much ingrained into me. And I was surprised when I became a business owner myself. I was very surprised by how little awareness there was to financial numbers, financial literacy, and so on. Because I just thought that everyone knew this. It's like, I guess, if you kind of speaking a different language at home, if you're growing up and maybe your parents speak a different language, you absorb that, you learn to speak that language because you're just around it, and it doesn't occur to you that not all families are bilingual. Well, so for me, I'm bilingual. I speak human, I also speak numbers. And it didn't occur to me this was different, but it is. And what we've noticed over time is the vast majority of practice owners don't have a handle over their numbers.
They don't.
And if you don't have a handle over your numbers, you don't know where you're going to go. You don't know how to get to where you want to be. You don't know why you're at the certain point that you're in. And furthermore, once you do discover where you're in, you don't know how to get out of it, right? Like I typically have found in the past, I will speak with a practice owner, I go, let's talk about profit, or let's talk about EBITDA, and they're like, no idea.
Yeah.
Like these are
A bit fearful.
Yeah.
A bit scared of it. And I think too often at times people are actually even too scared to look at the numbers, or even they're actually scared to face the reality of what their numbers are maybe perhaps going to show them, or perhaps they've got to realize they've got to, trying to get away with abdicating responsibility for so long.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not my field, or I'm not so good at numbers, or that's not my thing. Well, it's got to be your thing.
Exactly. It has to be your thing. And, so we teach our members how to speak in EBITDA, how to understand what true profit is and so forth. A lot of times when we do meet people, when I ask those questions, they go, oh, well, I have to check with my accountant. I'm like, really? Really? Like, seriously? Our members know their EBITDA every 7 days, for the previous 7 days, for previous 30 days, previous 90 days, previous 6 months, previous 12 months, and whether they're on track to hit their 12-month financial goals or not. And we'll show you one of those tools in a moment. But so here's the problem, the way that I see it. In the absence of a tool like this, you quite simply, you don't know how to track and measure your financial success.
Yep.
And that's a big deal. The second issue is not knowing what to track. Like if you don't know how to measure it, you don't know what to track, then we don't know how to influence that, right? And then overall, what ends up happening is a fingers crossed mentality. Like, I hope we're doing okay. I hope we're doing okay. Or even people saying to me, oh, our revenue's so high, Tristan, but the profit's not there. And I'm like, well, actually it is. Your EBITDA is really high, but you're not tracking it correctly, which is a pleasant surprise, but it's not common. The overall strategy we end up with is Hopeology, which is awesome. So, like, you can use that strategy if you're stuck on a life raft out at sea in a movie called Shipwrecked starring Tom Hanks, and you got a volleyball called Wilson. Other than that,
Castaway.
Shipwrecked.
Yeah.
It must be a different show.
Yeah.
I just created a breakaway show.
Yeah.
We'll get that produced.
Yeah. Reality.
We can't have Tom Hanks, because then they'll know that I've like totally.
Yeah.
Who could act as him?
Maybe we could.
But we get sun exposure, and that's not good because you're from Scotland.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. I think we'd get Leonardo DiCaprio. He'd want to work with us 100%. But that's the only time that's the only time Hopeology is a good strategy if you're starring in Castaway and you're Tom Hanks, or if you're starring in Shipwrecked, which we're about to produce, and that's your strategy to get out of trouble, right? Well, we don't want that. So when we use this tool, what happens? What's the shift?
Well, rather than Hopeology, it becomes to Cashology.
Oh, Cashology, baby.
Cashology.
Profitology. That's a new church. Cashology and profitology.
Yeah, well, Cashology is another way of getting certainty around what's actually going on. But like I said at the very beginning, you're doing the best you can.
Can we get a shirt made up that says Cashology?
Let's do it right now.
Okay, done.
Put it to the printers. Get on the phone.
Done.
All right. Look, rather than fingers crossed, they know they've got a future not only of where the here and now is, but what's to come.
Yeah.
Also, they know exactly what the impact is on their marketing, on their patient value, on the impact of the decisions that you make in terms of recruitment, on the impact they make to their bonus or commission or incentive or financial structure they have with their practitioners, because that's a big thing they don't get right in terms of how they incentivize their own staff. There's a number of things of why this actually works. But the most importantly, when we talk about Cashology, is its certainty, its visibility, and it's the opportunity in which to make the right decisions, but also know the exact impact on different levers that happen inside your business.
Visibility, opportunity, Cashology. Oh, baby.
I don't even know what you just said there in terms of
just rhyming with why.
We can have things on the back again.
Yeah. 100%. So I just want to challenge a bit of a belief shift, if that's okay. And I'm going to go off piece to what you and I were talking about that we're going to talk about before.
Right.
So here's what I think when it comes down to profit. That's my number one role as a CEO, and we did an episode 2 episodes back, I believe, or was it 1 episode back? I'm lost because I'm in the moment present with Dave because he's mesmerizing. Look at this man, he's mesmerizing. So I'm in the moment. Profit is my number one core role as a CEO here, followed by bringing on the right people to make profit, followed by bringing on the right culture, or creating the right culture for the right people to make more profit, right? So my role as CEO is to make profit. Now, I just want to be really clear with you guys. I think this is a belief shift you need. Making profit is your number one goal as a business owner. That is your number one goal. But you cannot achieve your goal without having the right tools in place, because that is hopology.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. Like, you think about treating a patient. We want to help them, right? We agree on that.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. If you don't want to help your patients, you're watching the wrong show.
Yeah. You're in the wrong game.
Yeah, you're 100% in the wrong game. I also want to make this really clear. You make profit by helping your patients. It is a byproduct of doing the right thing. I believe that if you seek profit at the expense of patient care or the expense of humanity or the expense of your team and connection, you're barking up the wrong tree, and you'll have short-term success if that, and it will come back to really hurt you. So I just want to be really clear. When I talk about profit, I'm coming from the place of you get paid, you become profitable when you do the right thing repeatedly, and you have a system for it. Now, with treating a patient, you've got a clear plan in order to get them from problem to goal, right? You need the same thing in your business. If your goal is to get to profit, we need to know what needs to happen at each part of the journey, what numbers need to be true, what actions need to be true to drive those numbers so that we get to profit. Because it's not a matter of I'm choosing to help my patients or I'm choosing to be profitable. It's both. Both must be true, right? So that's the belief shift. You can and must be clinically excellent and excellent at running a profitable business, both at the same time.
I mean, it's not just about, if I can speak to that point just a little bit further, Tristan, it's, too often practitioners are so focused on the patient care and the responsibility around, like you said, having an amazing service and offering an amazing service, and really focused on the outcomes or the experience that the patient gets.
Yeah.
But then yet abdicate, so they take full responsibility in that and ownership. I think that's the key word, is they take ownership on it.
Yeah, they do.
But yet when it comes to elements of their business, it's like, oh, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not too good at that. Or that's not my genius space.
Yes, and we hear that often, don't we? People want to join our program and go, hey, I'm a really great clinician, but I'm not very good at the business side. Or that's why I've got a practice manager. Or that's why I've got a bookkeeper. Or that's why I've got an accountant. I'm like, well, guess what? We've got managers. We've got an accountant. We've got a couple of accountants, actually, one of which is full-time, who's a virtual assistant. And then we've got priority access to my personal accountant as well, and a financial advisor. But guess what? It is still my responsibility.
Absolutely. So here's the hard truth. The hard truth, I think, here is that you cannot have an or conversation on things that matter most.
It's an and conversation.
Absolutely. I love that. So does that even mean? Well, that means that you cannot, with things that are important to you, which is patient care and the outcomes that you're there to treat and what your business is there to do, or which is taking responsibility and full ownership of the numbers and understanding the impact and all different facets of your business. It cannot, and I will repeat, it cannot be an or conversation, this or that. As you said, it has to be an and conversation, which is I've got to take full ownership of patient care and outcomes and the treatment and what my business does, and the financial aspects and facets of the
both must be true. So let's jump into this tool. What's the tool called?
It's called the CEO Scorecard.
There we go. What does it do?
Oh, it only just completely changes the game and how you see and what decisions you make in your business. In the CEO Scorecard...
So we've got a 30 to 60 second overview. What is it?
Okay.
Then we'll talk about what it does after.
Absolutely.
Then we'll talk about how to use it.
Oh, love it.
I know it. I'm on fire. Cashology, baby.
CEO Scorecard. It is a online scorecard which allows you to score all of the main aspects of your business, such as your finances, your sales, or shall we say your new patients that you attract.
All the things that drive success in your business. What it is, so it's called the CEO Scorecard. What it is, it's a series of very important... Did you hear that? There was something happening in the house. I was going to say a squirrel broke in, but we're in Australia, so they don't exist here. So maybe there's some like electrical popping or something. But in any event, like what's in it is all the data that drives success that we need to track weekly.
Yes.
So, the CEO Scorecard will track, we have another scorecard we use also called the Profit Scorecard. Inside the CEO Scorecard, we track all of the actions that drive profit.
Yes.
So that's for a different conversation is the Profit Scorecard. But we talk about key KPIs here, practice acceleration and KPIs. A KPI is a key performance action.
Yeah.
A KPI is a key performance indicator, right? So when we take the right KPIs, key performance actions, then natural byproduct of that is the indicator, which is a profit.
Yeah, lead and lag.
Exactly, lead and lag. So inside the CEO Scorecard, what we track is everything that matters to drive performance. We know if we look at our goals and we reverse engineer for the quarter, which we do for all of our clients, plus we do for ourselves here at Practice Acceleration, we do it for the year, then for the quarter we reverse engineer. We know what needs to happen in marketing.
What levers to pull.
Exactly. What levers to pull. We know how many leads do we need per week.
Yeah.
Then we know, so we track that. We get a measure for that. But underneath that, we're like, well, which marketing activities did we take, for example? Because we know what actions need to be taken in order to get that result.
Yeah.
So we're tracking how it's all going as we go along, right?
Yeah.
So we do that for all the major functions of the company, for marketing, for delivery being, your patient service delivery. How many services are you providing per week, for example? I won't get into the weeds too much. How many people are actually following your advice? Because that's a huge thing, isn't it? Like, what's the point of getting all these leads? We don't convert them. And then we obviously look at, our management KPIs and so forth. So the CEO scorecard has a whole list of these, and we'll read off some of those shortly. But in essence, it's a data point. Like, if you think about you're flying a plane, and you're looking at this dashboard, and you're like, cool. If I look at this, then I'm flying there. If I look at this, then I'm flying there. It's like a series of tools for you to look down and go, I know how to take off this plane. I know how to get us all to our destination, and I know how to safely land.
Yeah. It's like, here's something I've prepared earlier.
You prepared this earlier.
Oh, look at that. I wonder if it's...
And I prepared this earlier too, because I created it.
Might not be able to see this, but hey, if you're listening to this right now, I'm actually showing something to the camera. So maybe you want to jump off to a place where you can actually see what's actually going on.
Please, let's read through a couple of examples. Sure. We won't go through all of it because it'll take too long.
Of course. Things in here, as I said, one of them, it's all about covering, as Tristan said.
And by the way, this show was brought to you by Cashology.
Cashology, baby.
Owned by Tristan and Dave.
All right, so it's divided up into the weeks of the month, so we're very clear on what's happening there. We've got very clear definitions around each aspect in your business. We look at things like finance. So a couple of things in here would be, what is the revenue?
Yes.
Revenue. Total revenue brought in from different revenue streams or products or essentials.
Different product lines, different service lines.
Upfront revenue, for example, is there an element there?
Cash projected. Cash collected is better than cash projected, baby.
Mm-hmm. So there's
a t-shirt.
And there's lots of other things in there that people can look at.
This is broad strokes only.
Yeah. Marketing.
Yep.
Very key, isn't it? So
new leads, reactivations. But next to that, look at our targets for how many new leads do we need each week? How many reactivations do we need each week? Are we on track? Yes or no?
Yeah.
If we're off track, we can click another tab and it says, bang, run this campaign.
Yeah. So marketing, ad spend, cost per patient.
Cost per patient, yeah. We pay to play.
Important. Yeah, absolutely. How many total number of new patients for the week in terms of deliverables?
How many were converted?
Yep. How many appointments attended? How many, in terms of looking at cancellations, no-shows, acceptance rates.
We track everything that contributes to or detracts from profitability and revenue.
Do you know instantly how many active or inactive patients you currently have? These are all at a click of...
Well, I do because I've got the CEO dashboard.
Absolutely, here. So we've got, on here, this is a priority, we've got examples, and we've also got a complete scorecard that everyone has. It's absolutely fantastic.
Something really fascinating about that too is we get access to all this for our clients as well. So we know if people are on track or off track. So there we've talked about the number one tool you need to hit profitability inside your practice is this CEO scorecard. We've talked about what's in it. Let's talk about how to use it. Right? So let me just share kind of behind the scenes how I use this. Is that okay?
Please.
So firstly, at our business, and we are heavy systems focused, I believe very much that I should only do what I'm really, really good at. Like what I'm a genius at.
Yes.
And that is not data entry.
No.
Okay. So when I look at the scorecard, my role is to look at it and then make decisions based upon that. So I receive the CEO scorecard. I receive it every Monday morning before we have our executive team meeting, which I run with Dave, our general manager, and Sarah, who's my business partner, co-owner of Practice Acceleration, and also the COO of Practice Acceleration. So I have all the data, and what I do with it is I look at it, then I make decisions. And I could quite simply say, all right, we're on track, we continue. We are surpassing our goals, we continue. We are not hitting our goals, we make a change. Or, hey, we're ahead of our targets, we don't necessarily continue, we change, we pivot, and so forth. But I've got all the information here, and I can say to myself, this is working well because of this. So it's like, I know why things are working. I've got the data there to figure it out. And I also can look down and go, well, that number there is off. Here is why back over here. So it gives me the ability to make informed, objective decisions. And I'm an emotional dude anyway. Like, even with objective data, I'm still emotional. And I'm like really passionate about what I do. But if I didn't have this, I would be an emotional wreck.
Absolutely. Can I speak to that point?
You're making me emotional.
Well,
Yes.
I think that's an important point, because I think you said something that was really key, and you made it really important. There was a word that I really wanted to
Cashology.
other than cashology, is that not only are you making the right decisions in real time with the right tool, with the right data,
Yeah.
but you also said something, I'm making objective decisions.
Yes.
And in the absence of numbers and in the absence of this, you said, what am I going to do if I don't have this? Well, in the absence of objectivity, only subjectivity can exist, which means that you are making key decisions based on purely emotion,
Guesswork.
opinion,
Guesswork.
and that is a very
Emotion and opinion.
yeah, because especially imagine this. If you, for example, are having a battle with your team, or let's say, for example, that based on feeling or based on gut, you're not happy with the performance, but you don't have objective data to go. It's going to be you against them. Now, we all know who's going to win. You're going to win, but at what cost?
Oh, yeah, well said.
Your opinion and emotion versus their opinion and emotion, and there's no objective data behind any decisions you're making. So if you right now are really resonating to this, it's simply because you're living in the subjectivity, and you need to invite, you need to invite objectivity back into your world.
Absolutely.
I think that's an absolute important point that I didn't want to go unmissed, because I think that's one of the biggest shifts, is especially not what you do behind the scenes, but it's also the fact that the first thing you do on a Monday morning is look at the business and where we're at and where we're going objectively.
Of course. So I check this every week. I look at our finances daily, by the way. Do I recommend that for our clients? Not necessarily. I am a product of an accounting background from my family, over 100 years of owning accounting firms. So that's just my language. I speak human, I speak numbers. So I check our numbers every single day because I love it. Like, I'm really immersed in it. If you think about like a boat moving along with a keel, it's like a yacht. You call them a yacht? What is it like? I don't know, skiff? I think there's a thing that is wooden and moves all across the water, right? The boat.
Raft.
The raft. That's it. I don't know if I should be directing Shipwreck the film.
Well,
Or I can definitely get them shipwrecked.
maybe we were shipwrecked because we had a boat that wasn't quite old, because you built the boat, and that's how we became shipwrecked.
Oh, then we get them saved. They'll create the. I know. Then we'll give them the CEO dashboard and we'll save them.
Yes, because they can make the right decisions with the right intel.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. We'll get the coconuts off the island and we're out of there. We'll sell coconuts when we get to the mainland and make profit out of it too.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So here's what we do. We're in a raft and we're heading along. Imagine if you change the keel, like you move the keel and you checked it like every half an hour. Like, the keel is what keeps you going straight.
Yes.
Right? If we change it every half an hour, every hour, like, you're going to be zigzagging, like, oh, I'm off track. Whoa, I'm off track. Whoa, I'm off track again. Like, that's why this is so powerful and why we check it every week. We are checking that keel, or readjusting the keel very, very often. So we're moving in a straight line. So if you're not checking it weekly, you're not checking it often enough. So as you're listening to this right now, like, hey, mate, if you're doing it weekly, congratulations. If you're doing it weekly, but you're lacking the data that Dave and I are talking about, well, all that's going to do is create stress, because you're looking at it going, well, when's it going to change?
Yeah.
But you don't have the tools to do it. And if you've got the tools to do it, but you're not looking at it regularly enough, you're not actually able to, elicit change. So make sure that you get your hands on a CEO scorecard and get it custom designed to you. Like, all of our members are different.
Yeah.
Like, when I said they're all different, they're all absolutely, completely and utterly the same. Business is business is business. It's all identical, but we all think that we're different. Where we are different is in the different types of products and services that we offer. Okay? And there's very slight variation there, but business is business. Don't kid yourself that you're different. You're running a business.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're exactly the same here. I've run a boatload of businesses. They're all different in terms of service delivery and various different things, but they're all absolutely identical in what matters in driving a business. And the scorecard is basically the same. In fact, it's identical. There's just different terms in there.
That's right.
So if you want to get yours hooked up, reach out to us. We'll have a conversation and we'll point you in the right path. And maybe we'll run a pop-up on this or something. Give people,
so.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Clever us.
Yes. So people
Another
can actually
shirt
see.
we'll wear, we'll say clever us. All right, clever, and yours will say us on it. Clever us.
Or I can say clever, and you can say handsome,
Oh,
and we'll get David and Alina behind the camera with an and.
oh,
And that can
nice.
be, it can be. No, it'll be Practice Acceleration Podcast with Clever and Handsome.
Wow.
Maybe. Do you know what? The next episode, that's just how it's going to be introduced. Decision made.
Done.
I use the data to make effective decisions.
Well,
moving
we're going to
forward.
start recording that in approximately 5 minutes. So that's going to be pretty awesome. So, guys, I hope you love this episode, all right? So, the number one driving factor for you guys to have more financial control and to make objective decisions and remove the emotionality and to feel in control is, and you cannot avoid this, you must have a CEO dashboard in place. You must have the scorecard in place. You must make sure that you got the right data in there, and you need to learn how to influence it. So please give us a like, give us a share, give us a shout out, share this show to anyone that you believe would benefit, because the more people that we can help, the better the level of healthcare services we can bring to the world. Because when we help you, the practice owner, and we help you to thrive, guess what? You can shop differently every single day. Your patients get a better experience. Your staff get a better version of you. Your family get a better version of you. Oh, I can't believe I haven't said this before, but I'm going to say it again right now. It's going to be a little bit polarizing for the connotation. We're going to make healthcare practice great again. I did it.
You did it.
Oh, sheesh kebabsy. I did it. There it is. Let's make healthcare great again. All right, make sure you give us a like, give us a share it to a buddy. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next episode, which we're going to record. We're going to be shooting that recording very shortly, starring Clever and Handsome.
Yes.
Brought to you by our main sponsors, Cashology.
Love it.
See you in the next episode. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao, arrivederci, buonasera.